Welcome to HS Game Time. I'm Pep Fernandez. That's Eric Paul Johnson. And EPJ has literally been here all weekend crunching the numbers. He's got crazy football equations. He's breaking it all down about who is on the cusp of the playoffs, who's already in, how the seedings might fall out in terms of the CIF playoffs when they roll around. And Eric, we're going to run down the leagues quickly, and we're going to start with the Big Eight. Who's in, who's out, and who might be there?
You know, right now, Centennial and Santiago have both clinched playoff spots, and of course, they're going to be playing the great Rumble on Rimpaw this week for the Big Eight League Championship. So Santiago looking for their first victory ever over Centennial. Norco clinches with a victory, and that would be big, trying to extend their lengthy playoff streak to 26 straight years. King can clinch with a playoff victory if it beats Norco and Roosevelt loses to Corona. That way they'd be in a tie with Norco and have the head-to-head victory. If King wins and Corona loses and Roosevelt's in there, then we have a three-way tie for third place. Under the Big Eight League tiebreakers, Norco would win that tiebreaker, which is Cal Prep's highest rating. So, but right now, Norco in the best position to get that last playoff spot.
And keep that streak alive of 25 to 26 straight seasons to the playoffs. All right, to the Citrus Belt League. Redlands Rev, they're always in the playoff picture. Eisenhower also this season looking at the playoffs.
Yeah, Redlands lost last week to Ukaipa, kind of threw things, up in the air. There's still a possibility for a three-way championship here. But Redlands, despite the loss, has already clinched a playoff victory. Redlands East Valley, all it needs to do is win their final game, and they're in. And then Eisenhower, if they win, they're in the playoffs, or if Cajon loses to Rev, they're in the playoffs. So I think we're looking at the three teams right there that are most likely going to be in the playoffs, just needing a win to get in.
All right, looking at the Inland Valley League, we know who's in, but there could be some movement in the 1, 2, 3 positions, right?
Yeah, we know that Arlington, Rancho Verde, and North will be the three playoff teams out of that league. The big question now is who goes 1, who goes 2, who goes 3. It could be any of those teams based on what happens this week. North, Arlington, Rancho Verde, we're going to see a co-championship more than likely. Unless Rancho Verde were to lose to Vista del Lago. So you're going to have Rancho Verde and either Arlington or North as co-champs. And if that happens, Rancho Verde is going to go as our '1 team, despite that early loss to Poly. And then Arlington and North, the winner of that game this week, would go as the 2. The last team would go as the 3.
Because Rancho has the head-to-head advantage with those two other teams. Like the Inland Valley, the Mountain Pass is already spoken for. Citrus Hill, Tahquitz, and Beaumont are already in. And Citrus Hill's the one, obviously, right?
Yeah, Citrus Hill already has the head-to-head victories over both teams. So basically what's happening here, we have Tahquitz and Beaumont playing this week to be the #2 team out of this league.
All right, to the Mountain Valley League. Gosh, it's been kind of a wild Mountain Valley League, but we can tell you Banning and Rim are in. And from there still could be some shakeup in the league. Yeah,
Banning and Rim, they're both in the playoffs, but they're obviously big game this week between those two.
Head-to-head.
We could have a co-championship in the league if Rim of the World can win, or Banning can be outright champions. If Rim wins that game, then they also go as the #1 seeded team. And then, it's quite simple for the third playoff spot. Citrus Valley and Hoopa Hills playing each other. Winner's in, loser would have to wait to see if they get a wild card berth.
Yeah, great game on Friday. Sty Harrison and Jacob Taylor going mano-a-mano.
Area's 2 leading rushers right there.
That's going to be hopefully a lot of points in that one. All right, in EPJ, according to your math, the next 5 leagues we're going to cover are pretty much spoken for, correct?
Yeah, definitely. When we look at these next 5, all the playoff teams are at stake, so it's a matter of shuffling. So if we want to break down each league here, so
Norte Vista in the River Valley has the league championship,
and they have the number one spot because they've beaten Moreno Valley and La Sierra head-to-head. But Moreno Valley and La Sierra play this week for that #2 spot.
All right, in the San Andreas, Carter enjoying a great season there. They're the one, and then San G and Rialto are also in.
Right. I mean, that's going to, I think, pretty much play out that way. Carter, San G, Rialto, all those matchups have happened. So
in that order.
So that should be the order that we're going to see those teams go.
Southwestern League. Now, Chaparral could really throw a wrench in everything if they beat Vista on Friday, but right now, how's the Southwestern League look?
Yeah, if Chaparral were to pull off that upset, you'd be in an interesting situation, and Murrieta were to win their game against Temecula Valley, we'd have a 3-way tie for first, which would have to be broken by a coin flip. And can you imagine Vista Murrieta going as a #3
Gotta
team?
love the coin flip.
It could potentially happen. Now, if Vista Murrieta wins, they're obviously the #1, and then Murrieta Valley would go as the 2 with the head-to-head victory over Chaparral.
Who's that team to draw Vista Murrieta as the three seed out of the Southwestern?
It would be the team that would be considered the weakest league champ, and kind of looking around right now, that's going to be the CBL number one. So
possibly Redlands or
Redlands
Rev.
or Rev.
That's not good.
that would be your reward for winning a league title.
All right, to the Sun Belt League, the big game Friday. Elsinore taking on Heritage, and then Temescal Canyon also in, correct?
Yeah, Elsinore and Heritage will be playing for the league title, and that will decide 1 and 2. Temescal Canyon beat Paloma Valley last week to clinch that number 3 playoff berth. Paloma Valley not done in the playoff mix though. They're going to probably more than likely finish 7 and 3. There are 3 at-large berths available in the Eastern Division, which Paloma Valley a big favorite to get one of those. So not done for Paloma.
All right, so PV still there. And finally, the Sunkist League, Summit running away with this one. Kaiser Colton also in the mix. The Skyhawks go in as the 1.
Yeah, I mean, Summit's already got the number 1 berth, and actually they don't. They do play Colton this week, I believe. So they have to.
That's right, on Thursday. That's
they
right.
still have one more game to get through, but more than likely that's the order we're going to see these teams go in. Summit, Kaiser's already beaten Colton, so they're pretty much locked into that number 2 spot, unless Colton were to pull off the upset and kind of have a 3-way tie there, and then again a coin flip would be needed to break that. But I think pretty forward on how the Sunkist League will finish.
See, you won't get that anywhere else. EPJ, I told you, spent all weekend in the lab breaking it down. He's got math and equations all over the place. EPJ, you're the best. All right, we'll find out on Friday how this all shakes down and get the playoff picture for CIF once the games are completed. For Eric Paul Johnson, I'm Pep Fernandez. We'll see you next time.